Yo, 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 what is up, all my cool cats and kittens? We're back with more absolute value. This time we're looking at the word problems. All right, guys, and yeah, these can be kind of easy to solve, but it's all about how we write them. So, as we read these problems, you're probably going to know the answers right away, but I want us to get practice in writing these equations, okay? Because that's what we're supposed to know how to do. Let's talk about Angelique. Angelique has money in her wallet, but she doesn't remember exactly how much. Her friend says, "Hey, how much money do you have?" And she says, "I've got about $120, give or take 20 bucks." Okay, write an absolute value equation to model this situation and then solve. So this X actually represents how much money Angelique has. We don't know exactly, okay? She thinks she has around $120, and she says it could vary in either direction by $20. So the way that we're going to the way that we're going to write all of these absolute value equations is we'll do the difference of what she really has and what she thinks she has. Okay? And that difference should always vary by some amount. In this case, it's $20, and it could vary in either direction. So that's why we use an absolute value, because it could vary in the positive direction, it could vary in the negative direction. So that's why we use absolute value, and we'll put that variance on the outside. The give or take is always going to go on the outside. Okay? So that's how we do it. We put the actual, which we don't know, so we call it X. And we find the difference of that and what she thinks she has, and we set that equal to the amount that it can vary by. And we have to use that absolute value symbol. All right, so when we do that, we know that with absolute values, it could go the positive way, or it could go the negative way. So, and what was in that absolute value was X minus 120. Now you knew before we even started that the answer was going to be, she could have 140 bucks, she could have 100 bucks. You knew that because you can read. But if we're solving it like an absolute value, we have to write it the correct way, and then we have to solve it. It's a one-step equation. The inverse of subtracting 120 would be adding 120. So we have X equals 20 plus 120. Yeah, we knew that. She could have 140 bucks. Okay, or it could go the other way. Use inverse operation, add 120, and X equals negative 20 plus 120. She could have 100 bucks. Okay, so it was exactly what you thought it was, but the important thing was how we wrote it. So let's think about how we wrote it. We used an absolute value, and we did the actual thing that we didn't know, the actual / unknown, and we subtracted that from what we thought it was, or what it should be, okay? What we thought it was, what it should be. I don't know what to call that. Maybe the recommended amount or something like that. I'm making stuff up here. Okay, whatever amount that we thought it was, should be. And on the outside, we put how much it can vary by. So how much it varies by, or the give and take. Give/take. All right, the amount that it could vary by. All right, so I don't know if that makes a whole lot of sense, but let's try this example 1 and try to apply this rule. The recommended mass of a soccer ball is 0.43 kilograms. Okay, so that's that recommended amount. So I kind of know where that's going to go as I write this equation. All right, so if I have my absolute value, I know that that's the recommended amount, so that's going to be 0.043. The actual mass, which we don't know, I'm going to use M for mass. The actual mass, which we don't know, is allowed to vary. So I know where the varying part goes, 0.02. Cool. So bam, we wrote that absolute value word problem. All right, we had our actual mass, which we didn't know. We just called it M. And we did minus that recommended amount and put it all in these beautiful absolute value bars. and set it equal to the amount it can vary by. Cool, that's how we do it. The reason we do it like that is because we're going to split it up into two equations. One's going to be the positive one, so it's going to equal positive 0.02, and one's going to be the negative one, negative 0.02. All right, and I have to solve it. They're both one-steppers, so the inverse of subtracting 0.43 would be to add 0.43. All right, so on this left side here, boom, m equals, and when I add those together, 0.02 plus 0.43 is 0.45. And on the other one, m equals 0.43 minus 0.02, which 0.41. Awesome. So my soccer ball could be inflated up to 0.45 kilograms, or it could be 0.41 kilograms. Or if Tom Brady was playing, maybe it's like 0.2 kilograms. Okay? Maybe you know what I'm talking about? Next up, example 2, create your own and solve it. I have the perfect example for this. All right, so as a teacher, sometimes, summer happens and I get a little lazy and I start to gain a little bit of weight, okay? But then school starts back up and I get busy and I lose weight again. So anyway, here's my weight. All right, and my weight's usually, let's go with a nice even 200 pounds. My weight's usually about 200 pounds, and give or take about 15. So it depends. In the summertime, yeah, I'm eating those snacks. And then in the school year, when I'm so busy, I don't have time to eat, so I lose a little bit. Anyway, so this absolute value says that my weight can vary by about 15 pounds, and it's usually around 200. Okay, so I'm going to I already set up a good equation. Now I'm going to solve it. So we'll set up the positive one. That's where I've been eating all the snacks. There it is, and my weight can be about 215 pounds if I'm eating all the snacks, or negative 15, and when I add the 200 to it, my weight could be 200 minus 15, 185. Oof, I wish. Anyway, so there's two different options for my weight because it varies by about 15 pounds. All right. So anyways, that's how we write and solve absolute value equations with word problems, okay? So the actual unknown amount, and we do the difference of that and what it should be. Okay? We put it in a big absolute value bar, and we make it equal to the amount that it varies by. Okay? That's how we do it, and now you know.